What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to be telling you if UFC 307 is worth your money. Let's get into it. Open up the card. We have Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. I don't know why Kayla Harrison just isn't fighting for the bantamweight title against Pennington on this card. That fight would actually be a little bit compelling. But we have Vieira versus Harrison. This fight is made for Harrison to win. The only way this fight doesn't go Kayla Harrison's way is she misses weight badly or something. Like, that's the only thing stopping her from getting the belt. If she can't make weight, that's it. She's gonna steamroll versus Caitlin Vieira. Caitlin Vieira, it's just really doesn't have I hate to use this, but she doesn't have that aggressive instincts. I feel like she's not when she needs to go for it to secure a round, she just doesn't. And against Kayla Harrison, that's not gonna work. But this fight it's made for Kayla Harrison to win. I don't know why she's just not fighting for the title, but this fight it's interesting because Kayla Harrison's in it, but it's a fight made for the win. It's okay opener to the main card. We move up to the next fight on the card. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. I don't know how Kevin Holland's still making on main cards of UFC events. Don't know how. But, I mean, who gives a shit about this fight, guys? I mean, Dolidze's striking's ass, but he's good grappling, good jiu-jitsu. Kevin Holland, is okay on the feet. He's decent. Everyone hypes him up because he fights all the time and stuff, even though every time he takes a fight on short notice, he loses. And that he's kind of a scrub, to be honest. It's just, who cares about this fight? I was excited for Kevin Holland like a year ago, kind of. Who cares about this? This is not main card material. I mean, people complain about the fights on the main card of UFC Noche. I mean, Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribas. I might have gotten that fight confused, but I'm pretty sure that was way better than these two cards. Way better. UFC 306 Noche's card blows this card out of the water. UFC Noche is way better than this. But yeah, who cares about Dolidze, Kevin? Who cares? Moving on to the best fight on the card by a mile, probably. Because on the prelims, you got Thompson, Buckley. It's Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. I like this fight a lot because obviously it's Jose Aldo. Who doesn't like Jose Aldo? You got Mario Batista, who, it looks like the UFC, wants to, get a big win under his belt. Makes sense because Jose Aldo is on the last fight of his contract. And I was kind of thinking, after he, had a great performance against, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Hold on. I'm forgetting this guy's name. Jonathan Martinez. There we go. Apologies. After he had a great performance against Jonathan Martinez, you think that they give him a bigger name, but they're not. It's because he's on the last fight of his deal. The UFC don't want to give Jose Aldo Peter Yan or some other bigger name in the division, and then he wins, and then he's like, oh, I want to go do something else. The UFC does not like when fighters fight out their contracts. That's why Aldo's fighting another, I forgot Mario's exact age, but another kind of more up-and-comer in the division. Not an established top 5 guy who kind of everyone knows about. Mario Batista, I think, is a pretty underrated name and stuff like that. So I think that's why Jose Aldo's fighting a guy like Batista. Regardless, obviously I would kind of want Jose Aldo to fight a bigger name. It doesn't really matter. This is an unbelievable fight. I love this fight. It's a good featured fight. We'll see if Aldo, returns to the UFC after. We'll see if he gets a win. Batista, this is a big statement win if he gets this. It's just this fight actually has kind of implications on the division. Batista wins. This launches him into that top 10 range right there, and he has a win over Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo that looked very, very good in his win against Jonathan Martinez. And if Jose Aldo wins, it's great. The older guy, the legend, gets a dub, and think of the matchups. You can put him against Peter Yan. I mean, imagine he wins 2 more fights, and we're getting I was about to say O'Malley versus Aldo. That's not gonna happen. But I just thought of this, guys. If Jose Aldo wins this fight, I would love. There's 2 fights. I know Peter Yan just got booked, but I want to see Peter Yan versus O'Malley too. And Jose Aldo versus O'Malley would be a banger of a fight. That would be amazing. I just thought of that. So, there's a lot of good potential fights that come out of this. So I really like this. This is a very good featured fight. Now, obviously, we are going to get Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evloev. That got taken off. That was the best fight in the card. That was unfortunate. But regardless, even though that fight on this main card, it's still kind of dog shit in my opinion. But so this card did take a slight hit, but it doesn't matter, though. We'll get into the main and co-main event. You see what I'm saying? But great featured fight. You go to the co-main event. I mean, if you guys like taking breaks during, your fight cards and stuff, this is what you could do. I mean, Pena versus Pennington. I mean, this is awful. I mean, Pennington versus Meyer Brandon Silva was awful. 5 rounds of just a snooze fest. And at times I've kind of been a, women's MMA defender a bit. Like, let's say I'm watching with buddies and we're watching. I'm like, no, that's actually like a good fight right there. But they just, they watch and they're like, oh, it's chicks fighting. Like, I'm not into it. But, I think a lot of women's fighters are very entertaining. Now, obviously not like the men's, but a lot of them are. But this fight is not one of those entertaining fights. If this was Kayla Harrison fighting for the belt, I'd actually be a lot more intrigued into this fight. But I mean, Pena's striking. I mean, these guys, the fact that Pennington's a champion, Pena's getting a title shot after getting destroyed by Amanda Nunes like 2 years ago. Another undeserved title shot. This is just ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about this anymore, but it doesn't get much better with the main event. At least this will be somewhat entertaining, actually. The main event, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. I mean, guys, I've talked about this in some of my past videos. This is one of the most undeserved title shots of all time. This is a fight that, people are paying, thousands of dollars worth of tickets to go to this. To go to a fight that the UFC already is basically determined the winner. This fight is made for a guy to win. That's not what this sport is about. Obviously, there could be a rightful number 1 contender and we all think he's going to get whooped, but at least he's the rightful number 1 contender. So if he gets beaten by the champ, at least he deserved it. I mean, this guy is number 8 in the division. His win streak. Anthony Smith, Chris Dawkins, he debatably lost to Dustin Jacoby, Carl Robbins. This is awful. I'm not going to go through all Magomed's and stuff like that, but like compared to his, it's awful. Like, how is this guy getting a title shot, guys? It's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And Pereira, I don't think Pereira's ducking really anyone. Actually, wouldn't shock me if he told the UFC he didn't want to fight Magomed. Who knows? Maybe he was like, hey, I'll fight again this year, but I'm not fighting Magomed. And the UFC's like, all right. But I think mainly what this is at the end of the day, Pereira will fight. Pereira will fight the guy the UFC gives him. And the UFC's not giving him Magomed. And the UFC's like, all right, we'll give you Khalil Roundtree. We want you to win. They'll probably let him, move up for triple champ status to heavyweight after this title defense, if you could even call that. I think that's an insult to anyone who's held a belt calling this a title defense. Unless you're Sean O'Malley, obviously, because he likes fighting Marlon Vera for his first title defense. But this is just, Pereira's going to smoke him. This is awful. This is just awful. Who cares about this? I'm like, as I said, I'm depressed talking about this right now, guys. And you can probably tell that there's no really enthusiasm. Go watch the videos about 304, 306, 305. I'm really enthusiastic, and those cards, not all of them are perfect, but I'm enthusiastic and I'm getting fights I really, really want to see. Fights that should be made. And this just isn't it at all. This is terrible. But, other than, I'm saying this right now, other than Aldo versus Batista, this fight card's dog shit. So, going to the rankings, 1 out of 10. First of all, is this card worth your money? Absolutely not. Unless you are the biggest Poatan fanboy of all time, this card is not worth your money. And even if you are, you already know what's going to happen. So do not buy it. This card's absolutely not worth your money. Absolutely not. And for a ranking out of 10, so my rankings are very strict. For example, I gave Noche a 5 out of 10. I think I gave UFC 304 6 out of 10 or 6.5 maybe. And those UFC 304, Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, those are really, really good cards. I love that card. So I'm very sure UFC 308 could be above an 8, but they just lost Cyril Gane on that card. So even that card took 8. But still, that card's so set that could be 8. Those are the types of cards that are going to get 8+ right there. Though UFC 308, which is just a legendary card. This. If what? I believe I gave 306 a 5. And that card's way better than this. This is tough. Honestly, when you combine that the co-main event is utter dog shit. The first two, Kayla Harrison, Cain Vera, not a good fight. The lead Zay Collin, who gives a fuck? Jose Aldo Batista's the only actually good fight. And that's it. And that's not even some banger featured fight. That's not even a banger feature. I think Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling would be a way better featured fight. Obviously, got to take out the card, but that's a way better level, type featured fight than this. I can't believe I'm going to do this, guys. And honestly, it comes down to the first 2 fights just being dog shit. The featured fight being a very, very, very good fight, but not being anything as I said, it's Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling would be a way better featured fight. That's a way better fight than this, in my opinion. Maybe not way better, but better. I'm giving this card's getting a 1 out of 10. I was thinking of giving it a 2 out of 10, but I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 for one reason. 2 reasons. First, the co-main event is awful. And the first main reason is that this title shot is a disgrace to the sport. This is a disgrace to the sport. That's why it's getting a 1 out of 10. I was thinking a 2 and maybe a 3, but I was like, no. I will not put points. I will not give this a good rating. And by the way, 3 out of 10 is a good rating for this card. I will not give this a good rating and give it benefit of the doubt when you are giving one of the most undeserved title shot I've ever seen. You're giving me one of the worst co-main events I've ever seen. And the first 2 fights on the card, I don't give a fuck about. And the featured fight is the only actually good fight that makes sense. And it's not even that insane of a featured fight. This is a 1 out of 10. This is an awful card. Do not buy this card, guys. Unless unless you're the biggest Potown fanboy or you're such a diehard UFC fan where you have to buy it. Do not buy this card. Those are the only circumstances. And I'm saying that just like to be nice to the people who are buying it because of that. So I'm being nice. Like, I'm probably going to end up buying this card because I need to cover it for the channel. But, I mean, I'd even consider stream Easting this, honestly. Dana White's going to come after me now. But this card's disgusting. This card's terrible. Do not buy this card. It is not worth it. This card is a 1 out of 10. One of the worst, if not the worst card I've ever seen in my life, honestly. Probably a bit of an exaggeration, but you guys, you understand what I'm trying to say. This card fucking sucks. I cannot wait till we're done with this weekend. We move on to actually good, well put together, fights that make sense type card like UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. So, guys, let me know what you would rank this card. Let me know if, let me know what you rank it out of 10. Let me know if I just went way too hard on this card. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.